There's a man in every prison yard who never gets tested twice. Not because he's the strongest, not because he's the loudest, because nobody can predict what he'll do next. And predictability is the first thing predators look for before they choose their target. Prison psychologists studied this for decades, and the pattern held up outside prison walls too, in boardrooms, in relationships, in friend groups where one person always seems to hold quiet power without ever raising their voice. And the secret they found wasn't confidence, it wasn't charisma. It was something colder and more useful. It was being unreadable. And today I'm going to show you exactly how that works, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it in every interaction you have for the rest of your life. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. Your face is leaking information right now. All the time, even when you think you're being neutral. Micro-expressions researcher Paul Ekman proved that involuntary flashes of emotion cross your face in less than half a second, and most people around you are reading those flashes without even realizing they're doing it, which means while you think you're hiding how nervous you are or how much you want something, the room already knows, and they're using it against you in negotiations, in arguments, in dating, everywhere. So the first trick isn't to fake a poker face, because forcing a blank expression actually looks more suspicious. It looks tense. It looks like you're hiding something. What actually works is slowing your reactions down by half a second. That tiny pause before you respond breaks the automatic leak, and it makes you look like someone who thinks before they feel, which, by the way, people respect instinctively, even if they can't explain why. Now here's something that will genuinely surprise you. The people who seem the most mysterious are usually the ones who talk the most. Not about themselves, though. About you. Cold War intelligence officers were trained in something called elicitation, where instead of staying silent and guarded, which actually draws suspicion, you keep the conversation flowing entirely around the other person, their opinions, their day, their story, and while they walk away feeling like they just had the best conversation of their week, they realize later they know absolutely nothing new about you. And that gap, that mystery, is what makes people replay the conversation in their head afterward, wondering who you really are and wanting to figure you out, which is exactly the position of power you want to be in. If this is already changing how you think about your last conversation, drop a comment with just the word unreadable, because I want to know how many of you caught yourselves doing the opposite this week, oversharing, over-explaining, handing your whole hand to someone who barely asked. All right, moving to the third insight, and this one is uncomfortable, but it's real. Silence after you speak is more powerful than anything you could say next. Watch any skilled negotiator. They ask a question and then they let it sit. They do not fill the space. Most people cannot handle a silence longer than 3 or 4 seconds. It feels unbearable, so they rush to fill it, and often they fill it with information they never meant to give away. Concessions, insecurities, the real number they were willing to pay. This is a documented tactic used by hostage negotiators. The person who breaks the silence first usually loses leverage in the exchange. So next time you're in a tense conversation, ask your question and then just wait. Let the discomfort belong to them, not you. Fourth insight, and this one comes from military strategy, specifically from Sun Tzu, but it applies to something as small as a group chat. Appear weaker than you are when it benefits you, and stronger than you are when it protects you. Most people do the opposite by instinct. They announce their wins immediately. They explain their plans before they've even started. They perform effort so people notice, but every time you reveal your next move before it happens, you give someone the chance to interfere with it, block it, or take credit for it. Powerful people let their results speak after the fact, not their announcements before it, and that silence around their process is exactly what makes their eventual success feel almost unsettling to everyone watching. Fifth, and this is the one most people get completely backwards, eye contact. Everyone tells you to hold eye contact to seem confident, but constant, unbroken eye contact actually reads as aggressive or try hard. What actually reads as calm authority is a specific pattern. Hold eye contact while you're listening, and look slightly away while you're thinking. That small break signals that you're processing internally rather than performing externally, and it's almost identical to the pattern used by high-status individuals in status research done by behavioral scientists studying dominance and submission cues in primates and humans. The ones who look away while thinking, not while listening, are consistently rated as more confident and less anxious by observers who don't even know why they feel that way. Now here's the part that ties everything together, and I need you to actually sit with this for a second. Becoming unreadable was never about hiding who you are out of fear. That's not power. That's just anxiety wearing a costume. Real unreadability comes from a kind of internal stillness, from not needing everyone in the room to understand understand you, approve of you, or even like you. The moment your sense of self stops depending on being decoded by other people, your face naturally calms down, your reactions naturally slow down, your words naturally get more selective. Not because you're performing mystery, but because you genuinely no longer feel the need to explain yourself to people who haven't earned that access. And that shift, that internal shift, is the actual root of everything I just described. The techniques are just the visible surface of it. So here's your takeaway, and I want you to actually remember this one. Every time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to prove yourself, to fill a silence out of discomfort, ask yourself one question: am I doing this because it serves me, or because I can't tolerate being misunderstood for a few seconds? Because the people who quietly run rooms, who quietly run relationships, who quietly run negotiations, they made peace with being misunderstood a long time ago. And that peace is the actual power, not the eye contact trick, not the silence trick. Those are just tools. The peace is the weapon. If you made it this far, you already have more self-control than most people watching this, so hit subscribe now, because next week I'm breaking down the exact manipulation tactics used against you in everyday conversations, the ones so subtle you've probably never noticed them happening to you. And once you see them, just like today, you will never be the same person in a conversation again.